Okay, something really weird happened in London last week and I think we're only getting half the story. Rachel Zegler was performing in Evita. Everything seemed fine and then bam, she disappears mid-show and doesn't come back. The theatre says illness, but fans are saying something completely different. I've been digging through social media posts, behind-the-scenes footage, and let me tell you what really happened backstage is way more dramatic than they want you to know. We're talking crew arguments, anxiety attacks, and a complete breakdown that has everyone asking, is this the end for Rachel Zegler? Alright, let me paint you a picture. July 24, 2025, London's fancy West End theatre district. Rachel Zegler is on stage as Eva Peron in the revival of Evita at the London Palladium. This was supposed to be her comeback moment, right? Her chance to prove she's more than just Disney's biggest mistake. But guys, she literally could not finish her own show. I'm not talking about a little cough or forgetting a line. I'm talking about a complete meltdown that left an entire theatre full of people sitting there for almost an hour wondering what the hell was happening. And trust me, this story goes way deeper than just one bad performance. This is about how the Snow White controversy is still haunting her every single day and why her anxiety might be destroying everything she's worked for. So, stick around because this gets wild. Before we dive into the drama, let me catch you up real quick for anyone who's been living under a rock. Rachel Zegler is the actress Disney picked to play Snow White in their live-action remake. Sounds cool, right? Wrong. This girl made some comments about the original Snow White movie that basically broke the internet. She called it outdated and made what people called woke remarks that had everyone from your grandma to random Twitter accounts absolutely furious. I'm talking threats, boycotts, the whole 9 yards. And here's where it gets brutal. The Snow White remake flopped so hard that movie theaters were literally removing it from screens because nobody was showing up. We're talking empty theaters, viral TikToks of Rachel watching her own movie alone and basically becoming a meme for all the wrong reasons. The girl went from Disney princess to public enemy #1 overnight. And guys, that kind of pressure, that kind of hate, it clearly messed with her head because she's been trying to find countless therapists to deal with what happened. Her own team admitted she's struggling with her past. And honestly, who can blame her? So, when the movie career didn't work out, she turned to theatre. Classic move, right? Go back to your roots. Prove you can actually perform. But what happened next is going to shock you. Okay, so here's exactly what went down on July 24, 2025 at the London Palladium. Rachel starts the show as Eva Peron, and from what I can tell, everything seemed normal at first. She gets through Act 1, the audience is into it, everything's going fine. But then intermission hits, and this is where it gets weird. Now, normally intermissions are like 15, 20 minutes, right? Give people time to grab a drink, use the bathroom, whatever. But this intermission lasted 40 to 45 minutes. Guys, that's almost an hour of people just sitting there wondering what's happening. And then comes the announcement. She looks normal, right? Happy, confident, ready to perform. So, what changed between that moment and her complete breakdown? That's the million-dollar question. And honestly, it's making my brain hurt just thinking about it. The whole theatre was buzzing with confusion. People paid good money to see Rachel Zegler. And suddenly, she's just gone. Can you imagine being in that audience? The awkwardness, the disappointment, the complete chaos of not knowing what's happening. So, Rachel disappears and now the theatre has a massive problem. What do you do when your lead actress just vanishes mid-show? Well, this is where Bella Brown comes in. She's the understudy who was already in the show playing Peron's mistress earlier that night. Picture this. Bella gets the call during intermission that she needs to save the entire production. No pressure, right? And here's the kicker. She had to start Act 2 with Don't Cry for Me Argentina, which is literally the most famous song from the entire musical. She had to perform it from the balcony in front of hundreds of people who were probably still confused about where Rachel went. Now, officially, the theatre said Rachel left due to illness. But guys, come on. We're not stupid. When fans started digging, they found all sorts of rumors about what really happened backstage. The word on the street, and I'm talking about actual fans who were tweeting about this in real time, is that Rachel allegedly had some kind of argument with crew members right before she disappeared. People were saying this backstage drama fueled her anger and anxiety to the point where she just couldn't handle it anymore. Now, I can't confirm these rumors because nobody from the theater is talking, but when you've got multiple people online discussing the same story, there's usually some truth to it. And honestly, it makes sense. If you're already dealing with massive anxiety from the Snow White disaster, any little thing could be the final straw that breaks you. Alright, guys. This is where things get really interesting.
From a personal perspective, this is something I've dreamed of my entire life, and so I hope that they know that their dreams are possible, because mine are, and I never thought that they would be. So I'm quite, deeply moved by it, and I hope that that's what they take away.
Definitely, you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Angel.
I can't wait to come back.
Thank you.
I will send you a t-shirt.
Please do.
Notice how careful she is. How controlled every word sounds. She's like a completely different person. Cautious, measured, almost scared to say the wrong thing. Compare that to this video from back.
Now that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White, what did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
See the difference? Back then, she was bold, confident, saying whatever came to mind. Now, she looks like someone who's been through hell and is terrified of making another mistake. And guys, this isn't just my opinion. The research literally says the Snow White flop still haunts her, and that's why she was replaced mid-Evita theatre play. Think about that for a second. A movie that came out months ago is still controlling her life to the point where she can't even finish a theatre performance. Body language experts would have a field day with this transformation. She went from someone who spoke her mind freely to someone who looks like they're constantly walking on eggshells. That kind of psychological pressure doesn't just disappear overnight. It builds up until something has to give. And apparently what gave was her ability to perform on stage without having a complete breakdown. Now, here's what makes this whole situation even more confusing. Rachel actually has some pretty big supporters in her corner. Pedro Pascal, who's basically Hollywood royalty right now, has been showing up to her performances and literally standing up to clap after every number. Rachel said, "He goes to bat for me in a way that I love so dearly." During Rainbow High, he stood up and clapped, and that's when I spotted him for the first time. That's huge, guys. Pedro Pascal doesn't waste time supporting people unless he really believes in them. And it's not just celebrities. Fans have been showing mad love, too. Someone even gave her a custom-made Lubu doll before one of her performances, which shows people are actually invested in her success. Even Pink Panther, who's one of the biggest names in music right now, said Rachel is currently one of her favorite actresses, and that she follows her fan pages. The quote was, "I love her down. I follow her fan pages." Plus, Jamie Lloyd, the director, has been talking about wanting to take this Evita production to Broadway after it finishes in London's West End. So, on one hand, you've got all this support, positive reviews, sold-out shows, and industry people wanting to work with her. But on the other hand, she's having anxiety attacks so bad that she can't finish her own performances. It's like watching someone succeed and fall apart at the same time. And honestly, it's kind of heartbreaking. Here's what's really messing with my head about this whole situation. Rachel was actually winning. Like genuinely winning. After the Snow White disaster, she made this smart move. To go back to theatre. The initial reviews were great. Tickets were selling out. Industry people were taking notice. She was proving that she's more than just one bad movie and some controversial comments. But then this mid-performance replacement happens. And suddenly, we're back to asking the same question everyone's been asking since Snow White flopped. Is Rachel Zegler's career over? The theatre hasn't given us any official details about whether she was fired or just temporarily replaced. They're keeping everything super quiet, which honestly makes it seem worse than it probably is. But here's the real issue. And this is something that goes way deeper than just one bad night. Is the psychological pressure from the Snow White backlash too much for her to handle? Can someone actually recover from that level of public hatred and humiliation? Because think about it, even when she's succeeding, even when she's got Pedro Pascal standing up and clapping, even when fans are giving her gifts and directors want to work with her, she's still having breakdowns. That suggests this isn't really about external success. This is about internal damage that might take years to heal. And guys, that's assuming she gets the chance to heal. Hollywood isn't exactly known for being patient with people who are struggling. So, what do you think? Is Rachel Zegler's career actually over this time, or can she bounce back from this latest drama? Because honestly, I'm torn. Part of me feels bad for her. Nobody deserves the level of hate she got over some movie comments. But part of me also wonders if she's just not cut out for this level of fame and pressure.